if we make exceptions to where the president can just ignore this part of the Constitution turns into a fucking useless piece of paper. But you don't care. You don't give a fuck. You want an authoritarian as long as he agrees with you. Please come up and explain to me. I need somebody to make sense of this to me. Our government is corrupt, so we need to fire the watchdog organizations to keep government corruption from happening.
Oh, you're not confused, bro. Our corruption is rampant. So obviously they're shit at their job.
So we have watchdog organizations that are reporting corruption, but our government is corrupt. But our government is corrupt, so we should fire those watchdogs.
Worse in the last 4 years. Yeah, we've had worse corruption in the last 4 years and in the last 50 combined. So they're so good and they're supposed to be watching and stopping the corruption. Then why is it still going on? Why are we paying
What is
them?
something that the Inspector General should have reported on that they didn't?
That they didn't?
Yeah.
The findings of Hunter Biden's laptop? How about the funds
what Inspector General? No, enlighten me.
Wait, hold on. How about the January 6th committee that came up with nothing but wasted like $28 million?
It's funny.
Led by Nancy Pelosi.
It's funny that you say the J6 committee.
There's plenty of corruption in our government that should be checked on.
It's funny that you say the J6 committee found nothing, even though credible indictments came out of the J6 committee, and then you say that we did nothing about Hunter Biden's laptop, even though the House led an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden that did actually waste taxpayer money and didn't result in an impeachment.
Bro, this isn't about the House. You said they're a separate thing. I'm not talking about Trump's time.
Okay, so tell me what the fuck? What would the Inspector General? Yes, over the independent three-letter agencies. Now, please tell me what three-letter agency? What three-letter agency's Inspector General? What three-letter agencies? Pivot.
I'm not pivoting shit. You asked for the three-letter
It's all
agencies.
pivots.
Why aren't they investigating the FBI's failure to protect Donald Trump during the assassination attempt?
Why aren't they investigating the failure of the FBI?
Yeah,
there were literal congressional hearings to investigate why Secret Service wasn't up around Donald Trump. Well, okay, stop. Do you acknowledge that we did investigate that and you just pulled that out of your ass even though we did investigate that?
No, the organization that you're talking about, your little dude that was fired, he didn't do shit. I'm talking about that guy. I didn't say what the rest of the government investigated. I'm talking their independent organization that, according to you,
by the way,
that
Inspector General, the DOJ's Inspector General, is still there. He didn't get fired.
Yeah, so how about
Isn't that
was
interesting?
What did he do? Almost like the one who was fired.
12 of them got fired.
Was fired because he didn't do anything.
12 of them got fired.
You're just like they didn't do shit, so that's why they were fired.
Does it get tiring to like?
No,
does it get tiring to gargle? Does it get tiring to like gargle an 80-year-old's balls all night? Like, does your jaw ever get tired?
Gargling an 80-year-old balls. I'm sorry, were you not gargling Joe Biden's? Or you're not gargling Kamala Harris's pit?
Fuck Joe Biden. So okay. Here's the difference. I'm not a partisan hack. I can come out and say when my party is wrong. You can't. You have to gargle your fucking president's balls the entire time. You are...
Bro, January 6th was terrible. Trump's done bad things, absolutely.
No, you don't even know how bad J6 is. How do you feel about him pardoning Enrique Tarrio?
I'm actually disappointed Capitol Police didn't shoot people when they started getting into the Capitol. That's their job, and I'm sad they were...
They did. How do you feel...
No, when people stepped in, they need to start killing people.
How do you feel that Donald Trump ran on Law and Order and then pardoned 2 people who were found guilty of seditious conspiracy? How do you feel about that?
I'd have to see the individual cases.
You don't give a fuck. This is what I say. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care.
You don't want to talk. You see, you
can say that. Oh, I hold Donald Trump accountable, but you're not paying attention to anything he's doing. Here's the thing.
I just said, show me the 2 cases.
Here's the thing. We need to.
Thousands of people. You brought up 2 cases. If you want to talk the 2 cases, let's talk them.
Okay.
You just want to get gotcha points. That's all you go live
all right,
for,
let's talk about it. Do you want to talk about Enrique Tarrio or do you want to talk about Stuart Rhodes?
You pick, bro. You pick.
Okay, Enrique Tarrio, the leader of the Proud Boys, was found guilty. Enrique Tarrio, the leader of the Proud Boys, was found guilty of seditious conspiracy because he was circulating a memo called 1776 Returns, in which they would invade as many buildings in Washington as they possibly could in order to hold power over the congressional certification of the election. The Proud Boys were responsible for the first entry into the Capitol because they broke through the Capitol window with the stolen riot shield, and Donald Trump pardoned Enrique Tarrio and the person that broke the shield and someone who tasered a cop in the neck and another person that led a seditious conspiracy. So when you say I hold Donald Trump accountable, quote unquote, you don't actually
look. In jail for the last. I do though. They've been in jail for the last 4 years. How long do you want them in jail?
Someone who tried to overthrow the government? A little longer than 4 years.
I don't think there was no serious attempt to overthrow the government. You see, that's just where we disagree, though. I think
the memo,
you'd have to have,
to be clear, the memo...
You have to have an organized... You have to have well, they can have whatever memo, but that's not what they enact.
You don't know what you're talking about. So please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
I do.
In order... No, you don't. You literally just said you don't know the case. So let me explain.
Well, go ahead. Let's see it. You just described it to me.
They were sending a memo around to occupy as many buildings in Washington as they possibly could to disrupt the certification process, with hundreds of Proud Boys coming to Washington in order to do that. If that is not an organized attempt to overthrow the government, what the fuck could possibly be that, other than coming up in hundreds of people coming to Washington to occupy Washington buildings?
What other buildings did they hit besides the Capitol?
They decided to all focus on the Capitol because they thought that there was more strength in numbers.
So maybe the charges were dropped because they didn't do a conspiracy.
The charges weren't dropped. The charges weren't dropped. He was found guilty of it. He was imprisoned, and then Donald Trump pardoned him. He was found guilty.
That's what I meant. Why he was pardoned? You know what I meant, bro? Not charges dropped. Why he was pardoned?
He was pardoned because Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck, because they were trying to overthrow the government for him and he liked it.
It was pardoned because at January 6th, it was mostly, and it could have been stopped by the Capitol Police, but they didn't do anything. I mean, we can watch the videos together of the hundreds of Capitol Police lining the buildings and allowing people to go in through a horseshoe, walk through the building and then go back out at one point. Instead of fighting people and stopping the,
why did Donald
parade through the
Capitol? You realize that Donald Trump
happen.
Either pardoned or commuted everybody who was at the Capitol. You realize that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, like,
I don't think it was a good event, but
no, it goes past. I don't think it was a good event. You realize that is the president coming in and pardoning insurrectionists who tried to subvert democracy for him.
I don't think. Well, that's where we disagree, though.
Okay, where do we disagree?
Again, who was charged with?
So they led a seditious. They led a seditious conspiracy to overthrow the government, right?
Who was charged with an insurrection?
When there's a conspiracy to secede. When there's a conspiracy to secede, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does a
you have an insurrection charge?
What does it mean to have a conspiracy to secede? What does it mean to have a conspiracy to secede?
You stop talking. It means they wrote something on paper, but no one did anything. They had no weapons there. No one attacked anyone.
What did they write on the paper?
You gonna just mute me, or are you gonna say something?
Yeah, I need you to stop using vague terms. What did they write on the paper?
Why didn't they charge them with an insurrection?
If they were just writing stuff on, why didn't they charge them with writing stuff on paper? What did they write on the paper? What did they write on the paper?
Why didn't they charge?
What did they write on the paper? What did they write on the paper? What did they write on the paper?
Why didn't they charge an insurrection?
The reason you're not answering that question is because they wrote on the paper that they were going to violently occupy the fucking Capitol. Okay? This is why you are being hyper dishonest.
Bro, I've never denied that. I just need you to say that. Cool.
Okay,
great.
so when there's a violent effort, to secede, because insurrection is an incredibly an incredibly novel charge. No, you said it was an insurrection. You so did the Colorado Supreme Court. Just to be clear. Okay.
But that's not what was charged with. So why didn't they get charged with the insurrection?
This is called nitpicking. I don't know if you're familiar. It's a very technical term.
Would you keep this? Hold on, bro. Hold on. Would you keep this same energy though for the what was the group in Seattle, bro? The Chaz, when they wrote the whole new Declaration of Independence.
Yes, Chaz are insurrectionists. They are insurrectionists. Yes, they should be in prison.
Hey, I'll give you that, bro. At least you keep the energy. I'll give you that.
Yes, because I'm not a partisan fucking hack. Because I'm not going to hyper dishonest measurements to gargle fucking 80-year-olds' balls.
Despite our argument, bro. Hey, chillax, bro. Despite our arguments, I like you. I'm not attached to nobody's balls either. You just gotta relax.
You absolutely are.
I like you.
Here's the problem.
No, I got plenty of things to talk about with Trump. But bro, what happened on January 6th is bad. It's bad to a lot of Americans, but I'd rather him be president.
Like, it's more than bad. It's more than bad. We have someone who tried to engage in seditious conspiracy to stop a democratic process, and then when Donald Trump got into office, he pardoned those seditious conspirators. That is insane.
Why do you think you're the minority here, though? And why do you think you're the minority?
Because no one knows how the fuck our law works. That's why.
So why do you think that is? Like, why don't you think people are more up in arms with this?
Because the way that the government works is fucking boring and no one cares about it.
Or do you think they just don't consider it a serious attempt to overthrow the government by most of the people there? I mean, some
if they
people
don't consider it that way, then they don't know the facts on the ground.
A lot of people were. I mean, there were plenty of old people, bro. Young people just waltzing in there with Trump hats on.
Do you know how close?
Are stupid, sure, but I don't think anyone believed that they were there to insurrect the government.
Do you know how close we were to having Donald Trump as president again? Do you know how close we were?
Not close at all. We had Mike Pence.
That's the thing. We were Mike Pence away. If Mike Pence decided to decertify electors, we would have Donald Trump as president. So the reason that people don't think January 6th is a big deal is because they don't understand how close we were to our democracy being completely eroded.
Bro, a lot of people understand that, but they just trust our checks and balances of the country. They do.
I promise you, if you asked any Republican what an elector even is, 90% of them would say that they don't know. I promise you that.
Oh, in terms of that, I agree. Honestly, I don't think Donald Trump did either. That's why I don't think he thought the slate of electors was actually fake. I think he thought they were certified, just a different group of them.
In spite of
being honest.
In spite of him coordinating with the lawyers to avoid putting language in the certificates of ascertainment.
He didn't coordinate that.
He did.
He did. Bro. Just type it. Like, what's your problem?
To be clear,
you got letters of what they coordinate about?
We have correspondence.
Give
me 1 second.
What'd they say? Yeah, what'd they say? He said.
Conveniently, I just wrote a big document outlining all of the evidence I have on January 6th. So hopefully it shouldn't be super hard for us to find it. Okay, so so are you asking for proof that Donald Trump was coordinating with the lawyers to send the fraudulent electors?
No, I'm asking, I guess, for like proof that he knew they were fake electors. Like I don't have proof he didn't know, but I just personally think he thought they were just a different set of electors. I don't think he actually knew that there was like just some random people. Okay. I think he thought they were also certified, just different, like a different group.
So on January 4th, John Eastman, Donald Trump.
That's just like my.
Yeah, on January 4th, John Eastman, Donald Trump, Mike Pence, and Mark Short and Greg Jacob met in the White House in order to discuss John Eastman's plan of throwing out electors. In this meeting that Trump was present for, Trump and Eastman asked Mike Pence to either unilaterally reject legitimate electors in the 7 targeted states or send the question to which slate was legitimate to the targeted states' legislators. Pence asks Eastman if his proposal of sending electors back is defensible, and Eastman replies, well, no one's ever tested it before.
Okay, what is that?
That if no one's ever tested this before, it's clearly not something that is. If no one's ever tested it before, it's clearly something that is extra legal.
Why would you say that?
Because in another meeting, John Eastman literally said that it would unanimously fail in the Supreme Court.
I don't think that this doesn't prove that Trump, wasn't because again, I think Trump thought that there was just a different slate. I don't think he knew they were just going to be random people, and I don't think this just proves that. So I mean, again, though, I think we just move on a little bit. Like, yes, January 6th was really bad, and it seems you're super caught up on it, which is understandable. I'm curious, what else you think like we're cooked for in the future here, though? What do you think is going to be the downfall?
You could look at Donald Trump trying to end birthright citizenship with executive order. I think that was unhinged.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, it's terrible.
Absolutely.
That's awful.
No, I mean, I think the people who fly into this country on vacation, like we have a problem of rich foreigners, flying in here and just to have their baby on vacation so they can be an American citizen, their child. We have a problem of illegal immigrants having kids here to become citizens. I mean, I think those are both problems.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You realize that the 14th Amendment does not outline any of that.
That's what Trump was trying to get rid of, though.
Right. Okay. Wait. So we're already conceding that Donald Trump's trying to get rid of the 14th Amendment with executive order? That's insane.
No, I told you he's trying to get rid of the birthright for an illegal immigrant and the birthright for a non-U.S. citizen who
on what
flies
grounds?
in
On what grounds? On what grounds?
On grounds of what?
On what grounds is he trying to get rid of that?
His executive order
is not legislation. The executive has no part in legislating. So he would need legal grounds in order to say this is something that is either misinterpreted and this is the interpretation, or no, that's pretty much it. He would need some reason.
So then, why were you concerned about his executive order, and why did you say it was a bad thing? If he just made the effort and kind of brought attention to people, so why is that bad?
Because he tried.
And why is it bad to try to stop?
Because an executive order is
for illegal immigrants
who come into
your country and have a child, or for people who aren't U.S. citizens fly in here and have a child. Why is it wrong to end that?
An executive order is active until it's challenged by the courts. So Donald Trump put into law. Donald Trump put into law something that is illegal, that is contrary to the 14th Amendment. That's bad.
So why is that? Why? Why do you think that's bad? Why?
Because he's trying to rewrite the 14th Amendment for no reason.
And do you think it's right what he's trying to rewrite? Do you think it's good that people can fly
regardless, that's not the president's job. That's not the president's job. That's not the president's job.
So you think it's right, bro? Do you think it's right that someone can fly in here, they're not a U.S. citizen on vacation, have a baby and it's a U.S. citizen?
First of all,
it's
yes.
Right that, yes, they absolutely can.
Wait, flies in on vacation and then has it. First of all, wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm being too charitable.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're pregnant,
that child is only a citizen of the United States if the jurisdiction of the United States applies to that child. So if you're on vacation, you have a child, and then you fly back, and they never are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, then they're not a citizen. So to be clear, I agree that if someone is born here, then they are a citizen. The framers of the 14th Amendment agree with me on that, and Donald Trump has no authority to change that, but he tried to anyway.
The way it is now, the way it is now, though, is if they fly in, have their baby, and go back home.
Do you think we should set? Do you think we should set
an American citizen?
Do you think we should set the precedent that? Do you think we should set the precedent that the president can just fuck with whatever in the Constitution with executive order?
No, I think that what he wants to do is great and that it's good for the citizens and the people.
But it's contrary to the Constitution.
Yeah, I think the Constitution has a lot different considering how many hundreds of years ago it was, and I think there's some things that...
So the president can just unilaterally fuck with it and change certain aspects of it.
Yeah, I think that's why we voted him in, because we all agree with it.
No. Okay. This is my problem.
Do you have an actual problem? Hold on, bro. Do you have a problem with his policy?
Yes.
Do you have a problem with the policy?
Yes, the president has no fucking. He has no part in doing that. He has no.
Listen.
He has no authority to do that.
You were trying to do anything. You want to do anything to hate Trump, bro. Like, you don't even sound like you hate what he's doing.
No,
he's doing good for the country. You just want to not like him, and I don't understand why, bro. Like,
here's the problem with
MAGA.
MAGA.
He can do anything for you in this country, and you seem to hate him.
I am
it's crazy
a patriot. I love my country. And we used to live in an America where people respected rule of law, where people respected the Constitution, where people respected freedom, where people would call out the president if he's trying to wildly overstep the bounds of his office. Donald Trump is actively spitting in the face of any document that's withholding his power, and MAGA is jerking him off at every step. He's literally trying to throw out an amendment of the Constitution with unilateral power, and you don't... care.
Do you think they don't care because
The reason is because no, it's because they don't give a fuck about dictator. They don't give a fuck about dictatorship.
Maybe because people are fed up, and this
by
is
the
a
way,
good idea.
they're clearly not fed up with.
Good idea.
To be clear, they're clearly not fed up with illegal immigration because you're talking about denaturalizing legal immigrants. So you don't give a fuck about illegal immigration. This is legal immigrants. That's
why you just spit mid-information, bro. This is your problem. You just
gambling.
spread misinformation.
Stop. What does getting rid of birthright citizenship? What does getting rid of birthright citizenship do? What does it do?
Did you read what he actually said? He wants to get rid of birthright citizenship for illegal immigrants.
What does that?
Non-U.S. citizens.
What does that do? Stop! You are so fucking dishonest. You are so dishonest. You are so dishonest.
When illegal immigrants come to our country and have a baby, their baby won't be an American. When
yes,
a non-U.S. citizen
denaturalizes them. It denaturalizes them.
It
denaturalizes them.
Bro,
they would be if Donald Trump wasn't spitting on the Constitution. They would be. They would be. Under the 14th Amendment, they are. Donald Trump is spitting on that. Here's the thing. You just love dictatorship. You just love dictatorship. That's all it comes down to. You just love dictatorship. It is. It absolutely is. You just said something that is so revealing. It's not dictatorship when we all agree with it. Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, that's how
please fuck off.
Please fuck off.
Please fuck off. It's not a democracy if we all agree, or it's not a dictatorship if we all agree with it. Please get the fuck out of here. Oh my god. This is what I'm talking about. MAGA is actually fucking disgusting. Like, they don't give a fuck about dictatorship. They don't give a fuck about authoritarianism. They do not care. They like their dictator as long as it suits their needs. It's really fucking frustrating. No one cares about America anymore. This is the thing the problem that I'm coming across. It's actually disgusting. Ave, you're loading. You could say illegals. By the way, getting rid of the 14th Amendment just denaturalizes people who would be legal citizens. And you support it because you like your fucking cult leader, you like your 80-year-old that you have to gargle the balls of, literally usurping the power that's granted to him in the Constitution because you want a dictator. It's vile. It's disgusting. And this is what we voted for. It's amazing that people... This is the problem with democracy, genuinely, is that people, this is like, whenever we have like hypothetical criticisms of democracy, it's like, oh, well, what happens if people vote away their right to vote? And that's what we're seeing right now. People are literally voting away their right to democracy. It's vile. I'd be happy if, I came to the realization, maybe you're not a partisan hack. I think you're just an authoritarian. I think you just want a dictatorship. And I think you should probably just move to Russia. Like if I think I care about my country, and you don't give a fuck about your country because the biggest fucking document that governs the entire country you spit on. If you think that the president has a better idea, he can just stomp all over the Constitution. Which, by the way, just to be clear, if we make exceptions about what the Constitution's powers are, if we make exceptions to where the president can just ignore this part of the Constitution turns into a fucking useless piece of paper. But you don't care. You don't give a fuck. You want an authoritarian as long as he agrees with you. It's actually vile.